friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be continuing with the next day of the 1,000 subscriber week, where I'm doing a video every day this week to thank you guys so much for getting us to 1,000 subscribers. I'm still completely floored that we have gotten this far, and I'm so happy to make these videos for you, so I hope you're enjoying them. Today is going to be more of a story time video, and this is something that was highly requested from one of my previous videos in my 50 Facts About Me. I talked to you guys about being an actor, and I kind of alluded to the fact that there was one major star that was a real jackass, and I didn't give away his name then because it was kind of like now what the point of the video was. So I pretty much told you guys if you wanted to know who it was, just leave me a comment below in my 50 Facts About Me video, and that was the most requested thing. Out of all the 50 facts I told you, that's what you guys wanted to hear about, so that's what I'm gonna make for you today. If you are new to my channel, I really hope you take a moment to hit that subscribe button down below to enjoy the entire 1,000 subscriber week with us. You can check back with old videos, check out the new ones. We love to add to our little family here on YouTube. So please take a moment to click that subscribe button below. And now, let's just get into it. It was 2007, it was 10 years ago, and a large film production came to town. You followed my channel for a while, and maybe you haven't. Hi, new friends. I'm an actor. I have been in quite a few bigger budget movies. I need to reset up my IMDb, but it got expensive there for a little bit, but I think I need to restart it. I was part of a few different larger films. The Lucky Ones is the one I'm going to be talking about, which had a lot of hype at first, and then it really dwindled down. It was only in the theaters for just a few weeks. It didn't do so well. The Informant with Matt Damon, and Up in the Air with George Clooney, and I got to work with all of those actors, and they are amazing. And I really just kind of went over very lightly that I got to work with some great actors, and it was a really great experience, except for on the set of The Lucky Ones. Now, The Lucky Ones was previously named something else entirely. I believe it was The Return, or like The Returning Ones, because it's actually a film about people coming back from being in the war in more of a present time in 2007. So the way I got cast in this film was through my agency. They asked me to submit some headshots, kind of maybe do some reads, and I was cast. The main stars of The Lucky Ones are Rachel McAdams, Tim Robbins, and the jerk that I'm going to be talking about. And if you like this actor, a lot of people don't know who this actor is when I do like talk about this only on occasion. When this conversation does come up, like, oh, Nicole's worked with this person, some people have no idea who this guy is, and some people are like, oh my god, I love him, don't tell me that about him. So this is just my experience with him. If you've had a different experience with him, or if he's your favorite actor, I'm sorry, this is just how it is. This was my experience on set. So I was on set for the 3 days that they were in town, in my town. I was cast for every single day they were here, so I got to work rather closely, not directly with. It's not like if you were to see the film, I'm not into like this big scene with them where I'm like, tell me all your secrets, Rachel McAdams. That didn't happen. But I was on set with them all 3 days, and Rachel McAdams was lovely. Tim Robbins was very gentlemanly and kind of standoffish, as was Rachel. Michael Pena was the third actor in this film that I worked with, and he was just a jackass. And again, if he's your favorite actor, if you love him, sorry, but this was my experience with him. If you have no idea who he is, be grateful. I don't know. I mean, I've seen a few things that he's done, and I get annoyed if it's good because he's such a jackass in real life. I guess the way I could just start this conversation was my first day of filming. We were actually filming at the airport, and in order to work or film in an airport, you still have to follow all of the guidelines and regulations that the airline requires of their regular staff. They make you go through all of and anybody who's flying. So like I had to go through all these security checks, they had to check my bags, they had to do all of these things, and that was fine. I was completely fine with that. They did have us bring luggage one day to look like we were traveling with the cast. One day I was a patron on an airplane, and then the next day I was actually an airport employee. And I will be inserting a few photos here because I do have photos to commemorate the time. So there were days that I was there as a passenger that was like just traveling in the airport like everybody else was, as were those characters in the movie. And then there are other days that I was actually playing an airline employee, and they put me in full hair, costume, and makeup, and the whole 9 yards. So day one of filming, I was a patron in the airport, and they had actually brought in Las Vegas taxis and all of these things to really showcase where we were supposed to be in this time frame. And I was asked by one of the assistant directors to kind of walk in right behind Rachel McAdams, Michael Pena, and Tim Robbins. So they were kind of like entering into the airport. I was walking in behind them. One of the assistants came up to me and said, "Hey, I want you two to chatter." And he picked me and another woman to just do light chatter behind them. We were told we were far enough away from the boom mic, which picks up the sound, that they wouldn't be able to pick up our literally be very, very quiet conversation. So we did as we were told. And as we were walking in behind Michael Pena, Rachel McAdams, and Tim, they were, we were just doing a light little chatter, very quiet. You can't really hear anything we're saying. And as soon as we hit the doors and the director yelled cut, Michael Pena whips around and looks at me, and he's like, and looks at the other woman, and he's like, "Are you two extras? Are you two here to be on set? Are you cast to be here? Are you getting paid to be here?" And I was like, "Hi to you too." We were saying, "Oh, yes, we were," and we were told to, and before I could finish my sentence, "Do this by this TA," he immediately whips around. He goes straight up to Neil Berger, who is the director of the film, and he's like, "These guys are over here talking, they're talking to my scene, and they're messing up my scene." And you could see, like, the TA that had told us to do that kind of like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, am I gonna lose my job? Like, you could tell this wasn't the first time this guy had just popped off. So we got moved, of course. So the director comes up trying to keep the talent happy. We got moved back a little bit further away from Michael because he didn't like what the other assistant had told us to do. Fine, whatever. When you're on set, even as a day player or an extra, or as somebody who is specifically cast for a specific scene, you're there all day, and it is a long day. They are like 12 to 18-hour days, depending on the filming. It can be a little crazy. So, and there were quite a few times where he would just kind of interact with the rest of the extras and the day players and all of the other people on set that weren't the stars. And he would slowly interact with them, and you could tell like he was keeping his distance intentionally, but not the same reasons that Tim and Rachel were. They were definitely more like seeking their anonymity and just kind of like just being like, I just need to film this. I'm in character. Let me stay in character. I just got back from war. Like they were in their like character zones. Michael Pena just really gave off the air that he was someone and that we were lucky to be in his presence. That's how myself and a few other people that were on set that day felt. So towards the end of the first filming day, they asked specific people to line up, and I was asked to line up with a bunch of other ladies and kind of just like get into a line to kind of set up for the last shot of the day. So I was there, and I had lighter hair then, and I was right in front of another girl who had blonde hair but was taller than I was. So she's maybe like two people behind me, and I'm standing here kind of ready to do the next thing that I'm asked to do. And Michael Pena just kind of walks up to the line of ladies, looks down the line, sees the tall girl behind me, walks up to her. "Hey, I'm Michael. So, here's my number. Why don't you call me?" And jets out of there. I'm not kidding you. This mofo had balls, I'll tell you that. And when we were shuttled back, everybody got into this, everybody who wasn't the star got shuttled back on an airport shuttle all the way back, and she was sitting next to me, and she like had this red face about her looking down, and one of the other guys who had been very active in the scene that day, he just kind of alluded to the fact that you don't want to call this guy, you could get something. I don't know him. I'm not trying to do any slander here. I'm just telling you what I know and what I heard that day. First she was kind of like excited, and then when she was like, "Oh, I'm this next stop on the train. Like every city they go to film at, he does this. Okay, got it." The following days when I filmed for 2 more days beyond that. It was kind of obvious that the crew were obviously there to take care of the main cast. With, you know, they were kind of, Rachel seems very standoffish, so they were just kind of like taking care of her as they needed to. Tim Robbins seemed a little self-sufficient, but more quiet because he was on set, although I did hear that he found a local restaurant with some locals to go smoke some pot. I did hear that from on set that next day, which, you know, I don't care. But I did hear Michael Pena also went out on the town, and that he was just difficult and ornery. I don't know to what extent. I honestly don't remember anymore. It was like 10 years ago. But it was a situation where it was like a lot of people, even on the next day on the set, were just like, let's just get this going. So I don't think he was everyone's favorite person on set. I know he wasn't mine. And the few other actors like myself that were cast for those 2 or 3 days, some people were there for 2, I was there for 3, when we would have to interact with them, they would all come back with very similar stories about interacting with him versus Tim or Rachel. So that's the asshole that I'm referring to in my 50 Facts About Me video. If you like him, again, this is no shade. This isn't just like telling you not to like him. I'm just telling you my experience on set with him and other people's experiences that I happen to be there for. And I'm pretty sure that girl did not call him, by the way. I'm pretty positive. But I don't think she was asked back to set the next day. I think most of us were there 2 or 3 days, but I think she's one of the few that was only there 1 day. Maybe it's because she didn't call him. I don't know. Speculation. All alleged. Allegedly. All of it's allegedly. Whatever. I don't want to get sued. I'm just saying this was my experience on the set of The Lucky Ones for 3 days. I did not enjoy my interaction with him. However, I enjoyed my interaction with everyone else on set that day. The crew was amazing. The actors that were cast to do just the side bits were amazing. I had a great time on it, except for Michael Pena. And to this day, when I see he's in a film, I just say, oh, look, it's so-and-so in the asshole. True story. I hope you guys have enjoyed this 1,000 subscriber week video series. I have loved making these for you guys, and I'm so appreciative again of everyone who has come to my channel and subscribed and asked to, and just wants to come back and see more of me gabbing and putting on makeup and just telling my stories. If you guys want to hear any other stories or have any requests, please leave them in the comments below. If you liked this story time and want me to do more story times, maybe even about the industry, give me a thumbs up, maybe leave a comment below. And I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this because I loved making it. Bye, friends.